She came correct with the face this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Morning.
Alive and well. Okay, it is 9 o'clock, so I'll go ahead. There's Erin right at 9 o'clock, my girl. Good morning. And Bella. Apparently, y'all were just waiting for that 9 o'clock to hit and for us to begin. So it is 9 o'clock. Welcome to the Realtor Roundup, a little Zoom meeting where we're going to kind of review some of the stuff that we learned when we went to winter meeting just a few weeks ago. Kind of a lot going on at winter meeting. I'm gonna just go ahead and send. I know I'm sure there's gonna be some more people popping on between now and the next few minutes. I know how people be. So while we're just waiting on that, I'm gonna give a quick update. I did see that TR just made a Facebook post, but they also talked about this at winter meeting. How many of you have logged into that Realm portal? Anybody? Okay, it's kind of clustery, right? Not loving it, sure, right. Okay. They're working on it. Right now they say eh, the new license applications are really what's kind of giving them trouble right now. That's taken the longest. So if you've got a new licensed agent, they are manually processing those and they're taking a bit of time. If you are a broker, they have given you instructions now. If you get a chance to get on Facebook, go to that TR their Facebook page because, like I said, they made the post. But I was talking to Kirsten this week. I'm like, as a broker, I can't go on and log on and see all my agents under me. Like, what if I want to fire Robin? Like, I can't. Where do I do that at? I know, Robin. I know. Never would it ever happen. But I hold the phone. But I couldn't see where to do that or see where all my people are listed. So they're now giving instructions for that. Also, I'm sure this is no surprise, their call volume is high. So if you're going to call them, be prepared to wait. I know everybody's super excited and loves to wait on track to answer the phone. So those are just a few updates. They've given a little more information, like I said. If you want to go to the TR website or also check that post out on Facebook, I just saw that this morning, so I thought I would give that information. Um, Okay, we all set in on a class that I absolutely loved the title. It is Whiskey is for Drinking, Water is for Fighting. I do love whiskey. I don't enjoy fighting, but I'm going to pivot this over to my good friend Angie Shires and let her give a little update on what is going on with the water, with the high quality H2O.
Yes, high quality H2O. Man, you're like throwing me into the bus like first thing. I was expecting last.
No, no.
Okay, shut me down if I go too far.
Well,
Um,
where's Elmo? Do we have Elmo this morning?
Cody, do you have Elmo? Pick him up.
Cody, I
Just
might need you to go grab Elmo. Somebody go grab that Elmo, please.
okay. So most of the people in this room, so to speak, probably already know that we're having water issues in Texas, but we're kind of getting in dire need. This thing that has been happening in the Palestine area. Do y'all know about that? The whole bass situation that okay.
Give us the cliff notes for those who may not.
Okay. So the only reason that they have a leg to stand on is because they had a GCD, a groundwater conservation district. Otherwise, that water, Kyle Bass would have already had that water, it'd be gone. We're going to have the same problem here. Don't think he hasn't already been looking here. Bella, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they also had something in Cherokee County with Kyle Bass that got shut down too, didn't they?
Yes, I believe it was Kyle Bass.
Yeah,
It
Cherokee
was
County
it
is
was
in our that's in our MLS.
it
So
was
we're
Henderson
now
County.
talking about GCDs. Daniel Alders kind of presented this to a chamber of governmental affairs about how should we do it, how should that be set up. There's a lot of ins and outs to that. They're trying to make it a non-taxing entity where it's not costing people money because getting that passed might be hard. But y'all, we've got issues going on. Corpus Christi, this has
Yeah.
been going on for a couple of years. Corpus Christi will be out of water by the end of 2026. That's real.
And
Our
I know everybody's thinking, wait, aren't
Katie,
they surrounded by water?
Well, they are, but you have to desal that, and it's very expensive to do. They had started a project for desal. It got shut down. Nobody really knows why it got shut down, but it got shut down, and now they're kind of in dire need. Katie probably knows this because she sells a lot of farm and ranch. A lot of the wells in our area, just from normal usage, are going down. Our aquifer is going down. Top that with infrastructure issues for our cities. We got water and sewer issues everywhere. Like it's just a huge problem. They're talking about funding. We're talking about billions of dollars in funding that is going to go to all of this. But just know that it's going to be an issue. We're going to be talking about this a lot. Also, data centers. I talked to Shannon, and she said at the directors meeting, Shannon, I'll let you speak to this later. They want to know about data centers because those things can suck out our water and they don't create any new jobs. So Texas Realtors wants to know. So if you hear in your area or any area that's in our MLS that's got a data center coming in, let one of us know. But get involved. Start talking to people about this. Bella and I kind of geeked out and sat through like 7.5, 8 hours of a natural resources meeting for legislature. So have it on your radar.
Okay. And I believe, Cody, you had said that May 6th. Is that correct?
We're if y'all want to save the date, we're not quite ready to announce it yet. We're working on something to bring Cody Harris. That same conversation that took place because Cody Harris sits as the chair of the Natural Resources Committee. Basically bringing that same conversation to our members here at Tyler, and we're about this close to being able to announce it. We're still working out some of the details. We've actually got a commitment from Cody Harris. It's the other part of the conversation. The gentleman that emceed it is from Midland, I believe, and we're trying to bring him in on that too because
The dynamic was amazing. These
they
two were
yeah
fantastic.
they bounce off one another really really well.
They did. I would encourage everybody to tell your realtor friends in your office and as you talk to them to go to this meeting because it is important. It is really good. It is not boring.
No, no, it was definitely interesting. Angie, anything else? I see you muted, so I'm assuming you done. Okay, that was good. You did good with those cliff notes. Good job, my friend. Yeah, so the water is about to be a really big deal. So keep that on your radar. Any information you hear on that, on just anything regarding what's going on with the water, please let us know. We're really down for the struggle. Um, they approved. This is some good news. I don't know how many of you have been down to Austin and seen the TR. Um, okay, Bella said the room at TR was packed out with Rep Harris on the water issues. It was standing room only. It was very, everybody was in on that. So yeah, I don't know if you've been down to Austin and seen the TR building. That sucker is outdated. They have not touched it since I think they said 89. So they did approve a $15 million renovation. Guess what? That is not going to increase your dues. That's good news. So y'all don't get scared thinking your dues are about to go up. They have made some great investments, so they're about to use that money from their investments and start renovating and updating the TR facility. So I look forward to whenever that is finished, where we can go down and check that out. Um, Let's see. Oh, we did have some great times and great conversations with Longview while we were there. We're getting ready to start TRLP, and we are teamed up with Longview to do that. We had a dinner while we were there with Longview and a couple of people from the Metro Tex area. It was a great dinner, great conversation. Mariah's not on this morning, but she did a fantastic job just kind of helping generate. I know there's been, I don't know why, but for some reason, like the Longview Tyler, there's been a struggle there. I don't know why. This goes back forever and ever. And we are really trying hard to create goodwill and have good relationships there. So I think we're off to a good start with the TRLP that we're fixing to kick off and, just the dinner and trying to go out of our way to have open conversations with these guys. So I encourage you all to just kind of reach out to your Longview friends and encourage them anytime we have anything going on here in Tyler to include them. Um, Shannon, I'm going to pivot to you now. Are you ready? I want to know about our Texas Realtor member benefits.
You do. You want to know about your member benefits, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the meetings, sorry, I'm still coughing, but one of the meetings Amanda and I went to was about, the premise was how to save money on your taxes. You know, we're all doing our taxes and all figuring out how much we're going to owe this year. In your Texas Realtor member benefits, there's an app called Everlance. The creator, the accounting firm that created Everlance was the speaker at this tax meeting. So they were talking about things you can deduct, things you probably need to check on. But the Everlance app is really interesting. I've actually downloaded it. We get a 50% discount through Texas Realtors on that. So when you go to Texas Realtors, log in, look under your member benefits and check it out. But every time I get in the car, it starts tracking where I'm going. And at the end of the day, I can say whether that's a business trip or a personal trip. So I got home last night and I looked, it's like, okay, I drove to check on a house. That was business. I went to get lunch. You know, I was honest. I said that wasn't business. That's up to you, how you count your business miles. But I know, you know, sometimes at the end of the year, we might say, uh-oh, how many miles did we drive this year? And maybe we come up with an estimate, right? So this is a way to keep that much more accurate. It also has a lot of other tips in there of things you can deduct. So I think it's a really good benefit. A whole year's worth of it was $99. So I figure I'll make that money back in just keeping up with my mileage better. Again, on member benefits, LeaderLink, that's been the Texas Realtor Mentorship Program. They're revamping that and trying to get that restarted. So if you're thinking, man, I would like to know more about how the Texas Realtor Leadership works, you can get a mentor and work through that program. Something you might want to look at. Transact. There'll be changes in zip forms. They've been talking about this about a year now. I think maybe with the upgrades with Trek, they may have maybe rolling out Transact a little bit slower, but watch for some updates in zip forms. It'll be changing to, you're not going to have to download something new or anything that it's still zip forms, but it's going to be an upgrade in that program. So
Ooh.
I know. Be on the lookout. When it says, would you like to try Transact? You probably sooner or later you'll have to try, but be on the lookout and work on that as it comes. Let's see, looking through my other things.
You had mentioned the YPN.
Yes, that's what YPN. At the state level, there's a YPN board, Young Professionals Network. In the past, they've had a event once a year they've called Rebar. They're going to be revamping that this year. They didn't have any information at the board of directors meeting on what it was going to be. In the past, it's been like a couple of day. They don't like to call it a convention or a meet, kind of more of a meetup where they'll have a panel discussion and it's a networking event. They are going to be revamping that. When I get the information, I'll pass it on because it could be, I think they were usually pretty good events. They just have them different places in the state. So you got to kind of see where they're going to have it this year and what they're going to do.
And what's the age limit, I guess, for that?
I don't really think there is. They never want to say, they'll say young or young in the business kind of situation.
I mean, I consider myself young, but I don't know that I would qualify for that group.
No, young at heart.
Okay. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, we'll check it out and see what it is. They always bring this up. Oh, there's going to be some more commercial SAE classes coming down the pipe. They announced that at the board of directors meeting. Again, they just announced it, did not give a lot of details on that. They always mention TARHOF, and I think we probably need to talk about that sometime in community service, the TARHOF grants. All the money that if you buy those Texas Realtor license plates,
Mm,
that money all goes to TARHOF. I don't remember what that acronym stands for, but they do grants to associations and groups for, workforce housing. That TARHOF did a huge grant, I think, in West Texas with their local Habitat for Humanity. They bought land that was close to a railroad track and they needed an 8-foot fence. So the Realtor Association and TARHOF got together, did the money, built this big fence with grant money,
hmm.
for Habitat for Humanity. So, I mean, just one of those win-win situations. And it's our money we've spent that they're holding for us, waiting for us to apply for those grants. I wrote down workforce housing ? With that. So, yeah. Oh, well, trip funds. We may need to talk about trip funds when we talk about that water conservation district. Those are also funds at the state. That's more of an Angie's wheelhouse. But if we needed to do mail outs or something like that to help get voters out for an issue like that, that's what trip funds are for. They just use it in Collin County to build a fire station, to help get out information to build a fire station. So let's see, what else do I have?
Angie put in the notes what the TRARHOF stands for.
Thank you,
Anybody?
Angie.
Thank you. Because I was
I
going
had to Google it, but you're
You had to
welcome.
Google it, yeah, but
That tracks.
it's our money. We just have to find a project and apply for it and get it back here in East Texas. We did briefly talk about Texas Realtors is doing some evaluations of their governing documents. I know that sounds like a real good time, but they have various committees, and they did ask me to be on one of those committees. All I know right now is I have a Zoom meeting next Friday. It's supposed to be 90 minutes long. So, yeah. So they're going to be reviewing all the government's documents, how the processes work, how things get communicated between committees and associations from the top down. So, I mean, sounds like a big party to me, right? So I'll be there on that Zoom next Friday, and I'll keep y'all up to date on how that process goes.
Okay. Anything else from you, Shannon?
Nope. Go check out your Realtor member benefits, and if you want me to come by your office and bring some brochures, I can do that too.
Perfect. Thank you, Shannon. We did have an election, and we have a new secretary treasurer. Many of you are probably familiar with Ben Rodriguez. He won with a 53% vote. He is known for his purple solution. You will see him if you go to the meetings at a lot of things, decked out in all the purple, long hair, hippie looking fellow. So anyways, he is our new secretary treasurer. Let's see. Oh, Mariah and I sat in on a risk reduction class, and currently there are quite a few lawsuits regarding feedback. Has anybody heard of this? I'm looking to see. We've talked about it some in our office. So the question is, or I guess the problem is there was a situation where a buyer gave some feedback and the agent gave it to the seller. Then the buyer proceeded to put an offer on the property. But throughout the whole they got it to the closing table, but throughout the whole thing, the seller was irritated and was very difficult to work with because they did not appreciate the feedback that was given. So a lawsuit ensued. So now the question is feedback, to give it or not to give it. Kind of what I've been telling my office is if you're going to give feedback, get permission from that buyer and make sure to tell them, I'm seeing Angie says she tells her clients no feedback is feedback. Okay. Make sure, if they prep them, like, would you like me to give this feedback to them? I would honestly, if you're going to give feedback, I would just do it as, hey, me, the agent. I show lots of homes. I've been showing these buyers for a while, and this is my personal feedback. But maybe run, if you're going to say something and it's not going to be positive feedback, maybe run it through ChatGPT or Gemini and find a way to say it that might not hit so hard instead of just going, your house stank, or, something like that. I have several people on here going, I never get feedback from my clients. So, yeah, you can see where this can kind of get a little sticky when giving feedback because you could potentially tick somebody off. And then Magna's like, we want feedback. Yes. So that's the problem. A lot of agents want it. Like I said, if you think your buyers are going to place an offer on the house and they have negative feedback, I wouldn't maybe give that. If you want to give it as your feedback personally, I think that that's probably fine to do. In one meeting we sat in on, Claudia Carroll made a perfect point in if you're going to give some feedback, pick up the phone and call them and tell them your feedback and talk to them about it. That's not her exact verbiage, but I think the essence of what she's saying there is close, right, Cece? So, that's just something I would be discussing with your buyers. Also, if you're not already, and I hope you are, there are cameras everywhere in homes. And I know that these sellers are not supposed to be listening, but they are. Talk to your buyers about that when you're walking up to the home and the ring doorbells and all the things, and let them know, hey, they're going to be listening. So let's not talk about this house while we're in this house. Let's save it for once we get away from the home. So feedback is definitely kind of a sticky subject right now. Another one they talked about in the risk reduction. Apparently, there was an office that was known, or a team in an office that were known for being quite the partiers. Um, there had been tons of Facebook posts that kind of indicated that these people like to do it up big and party. And they were at a lake party somewhere and they were drinking a little too much. And I don't know what all they were doing, but somebody decided to go for a swim behind the boat and the boat was left in idle and something happened and some people got cut up. Yeah, very tragic. So I think the moral of the story is maybe watch your Facebook. Well, you don't want to look like a party office. Let's go from there. Yeah, yikes. It was pretty tragic. So, um, be aware of the content you're putting out on social media and what that might look like to other people because I think they were able to make a case against this team based off of some posts and things that they had seen prior to this event happening. So, just some risk reductions. Was anybody else sitting in on that class that I might have been missing? I, Claudia, yes.
Yeah, one of the other things that they brought up was listing vacant properties. And this is the latest kind of scam of people contacting you to list some vacant land, claiming to be the seller, and they, in actuality, are not the seller. So they were cautioning, perhaps get with a title company, definitely get ID from these people if you're being contacted online to sell something. And, these days that happens a lot. We are contacted by people over the internet and email us and saying, hey, we have some property. And so they were urging caution about that. That's one of the latest title scams going on. And then, of course, the fake emails rediverting monies from closing to offshore accounts is still happening in spite of all the warnings the last 3 years. It is still happening. So those were the other two that I can think of off the top of my head, Amanda.
Okay, thank you, Claudia. I appreciate that. Yeah. These scammers are slick. I'm sure many of you have probably gotten the email or the text, "Hey, can you click on the Zoom link? I want to see this house or I'm going to meet with you only via Zoom," but they can't talk to you on the phone. Don't do it. Don't click that Zoom link. It's not okay.
Yeah, or WhatsApp.
Or WhatsApp, yeah. If they can't pick up the phone and talk to you, that's a huge red flag. So I think
this morning about one of my listings, and he and his wife have questions and they want to have a Zoom call.
Say that again now.
I just got an email this morning and it came in at like 4 something this morning. Like I saw this listing on Compass and they want to set up, I just regular emailed back before I was logging on to this meeting, and he emailed me back and said, my wife and I have questions, because I said, I'm happy to send you the MLS listing. Are you working with an agent? And all he said was, my wife and I have questions. Could we set up a Zoom call so that she can be linked in on it? There's no phone number. There's no anything at this point, but it seems a little sketch.
Don't do it. I
Got
say
the
no,
same,
Robin. No. Phyllis, what were you saying?
I tell Robin I got the same email.
Okay.
Did
Man,
you?
why are they going after my people?
Yes.
I don't know. Phyllis, we'll talk about that. Are you going to be in the office today?
Yes.
We'll compare notes. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus, take the wheel. I know that the board got hit up. I don't know. What was it, like a month ago? Everybody on the board got hit up with somebody claiming to be me, asking for some gift cards or some money. I think Carl, he's not on here right now. Carl played with them for a little while, but yeah, listen, if I'm going to ask you for money, I'm going to do it face to face, y'all. Just know that. So if you get anything that says it's from me asking for some gift cards or money, it's a lie. It's not me. I'm gonna come to you face to face and ask you for money if I were to ask for money. So just heads up on that. There are some form changes, and one of which is they are taking the broker to broker compensation out of the listing agreements. I know everybody's about to lose their mind with all these form changes. I'm not the one making the form changes. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But yeah, I think people are just really going to have to find ways to have creative conversations with our buyers and sellers regarding some of this stuff. But they are taking the broker to broker compensation out of the listing agreement. So heads up on that. That's going to be fun. If y'all are brokers or office managers, kind of prep your people and get them prepared for some of this. I'm trying to think, Cody, what am I missing? What else did we learn that I'm missing to tell these people today?
No, really, the only thing that that before when we talked last night, I thought you had everything covered, and I was remembering the pontoon boat incident with the party office and sort of that from a risk issue perspective. But yeah, you covered that, but that's really just about everything. As far as like a couple more details on some of the stuff we've heard about, like on the forms issues, Kirsten Crawford was down there. She's more than happy. She's more than happy, as she always is, to meet with any of your offices and come in and teach any forms classes.
Yeah, y'all utilize her. She's really good.
I didn't sit through any of them, and I don't know of anyone on this call that did. But if you have any questions about property management, there was a day of property management classes, and Ro Allen sat through all that. And so she's a good resource just to reach out to her and see what they're updating everybody on the property management side. About the only other thing to circle back to the water issue. This is less what we found out from TR, more to let y'all know sort of what we're doing at the GTAR level. GTAR and the Chamber of Commerce are working pretty closely with Representative Alders, who was probably going to be the sponsor of any sort of legislation to get a groundwater conservation district started for Smith County. But right now, the discussion is sort of centered on where and what counties will entail that groundwater conservation district. The aquifer is far larger than one single county, so we've got multiple. If the only groundwater conservation district that exists for East Texas this far up stops at Henderson, Cherokee, and Anderson counties. So you go from Smith all the way to Texarkana, there's absolutely no groundwater conservation district coverage, but that aquifer reaches all the way up there. So even if Smith County forms a groundwater conservation district, if they decide to put these high capacity wells, let's say in Wood County, well, they're still going to draw our water down because it's the same aquifer, right? So we're having these discussions with these surrounding counties of what their interest level is of starting a larger, more regional GCD, groundwater conservation district. And right now, there seems to be probably the most momentum for a Smith and Gregg County. But there's another piece of that really GTAR is being a little bit more persnickety about. And we all want to protect our groundwater. But I'll tell you this, coming from other states, you get these groundwater conservation districts and you get these board members that sit on them. And all of a sudden you get one board member that doesn't like the idea of a subdivision being built near his house. And then they want to vote. It becomes like a NIMBY, not in my backyard kind of thing. And they vote against this development. Well, that's bad for that's bad for the builders, and that's bad for the realtors and for the consumer that wants, to have more housing inventory. All because someone that sits on a board doesn't want that subdivision out there. So one of the things that it's not just a matter of protecting the groundwater, it's making sure we're protecting property rights with any additional regulation that we set up, and making sure that a groundwater conservation district is fee-based and not property tax-based, because that's just something that's going to hit to the heart of our issue. But other than that, about the only thing that I can think of to announce is, for those of y'all that don't know, tomorrow is Claudia's 25th birthday. Is that right?
It
Is that
is.
right? And Claudia, I've got something on my desk to give you next time I see you. But yeah, so if y'all see Claudia, be sure to tell her happy birthday. But that's everything. It's everything that I know of.
Okay, perfect. Magno, I'd just like to say you're looking good this morning. Looking good, my friend. Hey,
Already,
also
y'all doing all right?
doing good.
I'm
Doing
getting ready.
good.
Get into. I had a question for all you guys. When touch base on the on that Zoom deal, because I thought about it last time. Of course, we all get those texts or emails and such. Has anybody ever actually had a legit person reach out in regards to a potential Zoom deal with a legit buyer or lead?
No.
Okay, neither have I.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the
Yes.
time, I always kind of turn it down. And I thought about it the other day. I think we were discussing it with some of my team members. Like, what if we're actually turning down some legit people or so?
If they were legit, I think they'd pick up the phone and talk to you and maybe discuss that Zoom link before like clicking on it. That would just be my thought. Like, hey, I've been
Yeah.
advised not to click on Zoom links, but I'd love to have a conversation with you about it beforehand and see if you could maybe get them on the phone.
I did
So
use the forewarn app on a name that I received, but it was so many of them that I couldn't really get any information on it.
It was hard to vet them.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 This was a fairly common name. And like I said, his email didn't have like a phone number. He had a link to the Compass website, like with the listing. Because I was like, are you
No,
working for the
I like to
Compass
send out my own Zoom links. What email should I send them to that shuts them down too? Something when they
Oh.
send you their link, there's something fraudulent in there, but you say, look, I'd be happy to set that up with my Zoom link. Where should I send it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're starting to get a little bit more better at it, because sometimes they'll say, "Sure, here's my email."
Yeah. I mean,
don't
if
know.
they sent me their email, I would,
Yeah, I mean, this came
send them a
from
link.
an
You got no
email
risk
account.
there, maybe.
So,
Well, Jennifer Paul put something interesting in the
Yeah.
yeah, if y'all
I
looked at
see
the chat,
that.
yes. So evidently they're getting their jollies off
I don't need that
appearing
experience.
half naked in the Zoom video. So
Oh,
there could be a whole nother
We did start
backstory.
this talking about no pants.
Yeah.
that's true. I did start this meeting saying you didn't have to have pants on to be in this meeting. So
Oh, okay.
I guess that's also, I could be considered highly inappropriate.
Yeah, call me old fashioned, but I would prefer everybody have their pants on.
I mean, yes, yes. Hey, before we click off, I just want to remind everybody, there has been some discussion about the seller's disclosure and the exemption rule. There will be a special meeting on March 23rd at 10 a.m. So if you have opinions about this and would like to come share them, I would ask also, though, if you are going to bring some very strong opinions, to also please maybe provide some solutions that we could also discuss when we take this back to the committee and to the board. So, but put that on your calendar if this is something that has really got you riled up and you want to attend. We look forward to meeting with you March 23rd at 10 a.m. to hear your thoughts plus suggestions. Dawn is putting in there, be aware of calls from a no number and the person acting as a deputy. Okay. Yes, I think Robbie Main got one of these as well, Dawn. So these scammers are, I-
They're really
They-
smart. They're actually calling
Yeah.
from the sheriff department's number.
yep. Have you had this happen, Phyllis?
I did.
Okay, you
I
want to give
did,
us just a real
but
quick
I knew.
rundown on what that
Okay.
looked like? What
Okay,
was
so they
it?
called me and told me I missed jury duty.
Jury duty. Yeah.
And that they had issued a warrant out for my arrest, and that I had to come up with $1,500. I had to come down to the sheriff's office. So at this point, I'm really nervous, and yeah, they were saying that it was recorded. It was all this stuff going on. So because I know Chief Pinkerton, I had my husband call Chief Pinkerton to find out what my recourse was.
Mhm.
And he didn't answer. So I told the guy, I said, could you hold on for a second? So I called Chief Pinkerton and he told me that it was a scam. And I said, well, it came from the sheriff's department number. And he said, yeah, they've gotten really slick about how they get these people's money. And they do. Some of them have fallen victim to actually paying this money.
Yep. Yep. My ex-mother-in-law is one of them, bless her heart. She got scammed out of some money. So y'all just be very careful. And if it doesn't set right, doesn't feel right, if your spidey sensors are going off, pay attention to that. Because people gone people. Not everybody has good intentions and not everybody's telling you the truth. So like I tell my office, maybe pray and drink some water. Because not everybody
Yeah, we
has your
do a
best
lot of
interest.
that.
We do, don't we? We are well hydrated and prayed up over here. All right, guys. Anything else, Cody, that I'm missing? Anybody else have anything that they would like to add to this discussion? I know this is being recorded, so hopefully we can also pop this out onto the group Facebook page. So if you have people in your office or people you know that might have missed this and you think some of this information would benefit them, please let them know. It'll be there. Go check it out. Anybody have anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. I guess that's it. Bye, guys. We'll see ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all. Yeah, have a good one.
You too.